Okay, let's get right into it. We're talking about business cards today, but we're not just talking about the design. We're going deeper. We're talking about the paper itself, the actual feel of the card. It's something that can make or break your first impression before anyone even reads a single word. It's a huge branding tool, and we're going to break down exactly how to get it right.
So just think about that for a second. Before your logo even clicks, before they see your job title, what message is that little card sending? The weight in their hand, the texture on their fingertips, that whole experience is communicating something powerful about you and your brand. So the real question is, are you controlling that message? And look, this isn't just some vague idea. It's backed up by actual data. A study by Ipsos found that a whopping 72% of people judge a company based on the quality of its business card. 72%. That's almost 3 out of every 4 potential clients making a split-second decision about you, all from that one piece of paper. And that brings us to the first big idea here. You've got to think of your card less like a piece of paper and more like a handshake. Seriously, it's often the very first physical interaction someone has with your brand. It's real, it's tangible, and it sets the entire tone for whatever comes next.
I mean, you could have the most amazing, award-winning design on the planet, right? But if you print it on flimsy, cheap-feeling paper, you've just totally undercut your own message. But on the flip side, a card with some real substance, some nice thickness to it, well, that adds both literal and figurative weight to your brand. It just feels important.
All right, so how do we get that feeling of quality? Let's start by breaking down some of the technical jargon. But don't worry, I'm going to make this super simple and clear. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what you're talking about. First thing you need to know is the term paper stock. It's really just a fancy way of saying the physical material your card is printed on. That's it. This is the foundation, right? It's what decides how the card feels, how well it's going to hold up in someone's wallet, and even how your brand colors are going to look. And that stock, it really comes down to 2 key things: weight and finish. Weight is pretty straightforward. It's all about thickness. It's measured in points, or PT, and the higher the number, the thicker and sturdier the card. Then you have the finish. That's the coating, the texture that's applied on top. This is what changes the look, the feel, and crucially, whether you can even write on it. Now remember, these aren't just technical specs on an order form. They are strategic brand decisions. And this is where it gets really fun, matching the right paper to your brand's unique personality. So let's take a look at this chart. A standard 14-point card with a shiny gloss finish, it feels energetic. It's great if you're handing out tons of them. But bump it up to 16-point, that's kind of the industry standard, and you get a much more professional vibe. Now move up to an 18-point with a soft touch finish. Now you're signaling creativity, something premium. And then you get to the big one, a super thick 32-point card. That is an absolute power move. That says luxury, executive, high impact. See? Each one tells a totally different story. Okay, so you have these brand personas in your head. Now let's get even more practical. We're going to walk through 4 key factors you absolutely have to think about before you hit that order button. Here's your checklist. First, the weight and how sturdy the card is. Second, the finish and what that feels like. Third, and this is a big one, whether or not you can write on it. And finally, how well it shows off your brand's colors. We'll touch on each of these really quick. So the 2 most common choices you'll see are matte and gloss, and they're pretty much polar opposites. A matte finish is smooth, it feels modern, it's understated because it absorbs light. A gloss finish, on the other hand, is shiny and bold. It reflects light, which makes your colors just pop and feel really vibrant. The choice here really has to match your brand's vibe. But if you want a truly unforgettable experience, you've got to check out a soft touch finish. It has this incredible, velvety, almost suede-like feel to it. It's the kind of card that people don't just glance at. They actually stop, they feel it, they comment on it, and that physical connection makes your brand so much more memorable. So what if you want a little of both? A little bit of matte, a little bit of shine? Well, that's where something called spot UV comes in. This technique is so cool. It puts a raised, glossy coating on just specific parts of your card, like maybe just your logo or just your name, while the rest of the card stays matte. It's an amazing way to create contrast and pull someone's eye exactly where you want it to go. Okay, here is a super practical question that gets missed all the time. Do you ever find yourself needing to jot down a quick note, maybe a meeting time or a personal cell number, on the back of your card? Because if you do, your choice of finish is absolutely critical. So here's your cheat sheet. It's really simple. Uncoated and matte stocks are fantastic for writing on. A regular pen works perfectly. But if you try to write on a gloss or a soft touch card, you're going to get a smudgy, unreadable mess every single time. The ink just won't stick. So yeah, know how you're going to use the card before you place the order.
All right, we've covered a ton of options. Let's wrap things up with a really simple, proactive checklist to help you avoid the most common pitfalls and make sure your cards turn out perfect.
Just follow these 4 steps. 1. Define your word. Pick one single word that captures the feeling you're going for. 2. Order a sample pack from your printer. Don't guess, actually feel the options yourself. 3. Always, and I mean always, get a printed proof on the exact stock you want to use. And 4. Order a small surplus. It is way, way cheaper than having to do a small reprint later on. Honestly, if you only take one thing away from all of this, let it be this right here. Start with that one word. Does your brand feel confident? Well, maybe that means you go for a thick, heavy 32-point stock. Is it creative? Maybe an 18-point with that cool soft touch finish is the right call. That one single word is going to be your North Star for every other decision. So as we wrap up, I'll just leave you with this question to chew on. Now that you know all this, what story is your next business card going to tell about you long before anyone even has a chance to read your name?